artists. Today we're going to read a book called Art and Max, and then we are going to create a self-portrait. A self-portrait is a painting. A portrait is a painting of someone, and you can have pet portraits. You can have portraits of famous people, and then you have self-portraits, and that would be a portrait that you do of yourself. So you kind of think about features that you like, things that you want to enhance. But our portraits today are going to be just a little bit different. It's you, but it's kind of an inside you. All right, so this book today is called Art and Max. It's by David Wiesner, and it's one of my favorite books in how he illustrated it. It's just beautiful. So, Art and Max. I have a little lizard out in the desert, running. So, hopefully you'll be able to see all of this. And there's another lizard. He's painting. Here's one that's running, going a little bit crazy back there, huh? And this one is painting, if you notice, he's painting a portrait of this lizard who is standing over here. So you can see this very serious portrait of this lizard over here. Careful, Max! Hey, Art! That's great! The name is Arthur. I can paint too, Arthur. You, Max? Don't be ridiculous. Oh, he looks a little sad, doesn't he? That wasn't very nice. Oh, all right. Just don't get in the way. You can see he's setting up his canvas. He's figuring it all out. There he is, standing right in front of it. Arthur? What should I paint? Well, you could paint me. You? Really? What are you doing? I'm painting you. Do you see how he's painting the other one? I don't think that's what Arthur meant. Ta-da! What do you think? This is preposterous. Oh, turn around. I missed a spot. Max! Uh-oh. Can you see what's happening? He's getting so upset. He's cracking. Oh my gosh. He exploded. Wow! Oh, Max, what have you done? What do we think is going to happen? Oh, do you see? So he's blowing on Max, and that yellow is kind of making, or he's blowing on Arthur. Max is blowing on Arthur, and it's making the yellow kind of powder up. So it's going to run off. And he's come back with a great big fan. Oh my gosh. He's blowing all the paint off of Arthur. Think that's gonna work? I feel strange. Have a drink of water. You see what's happening with the water? I'll get some more. Color's all running down, isn't it? Ooh! Hold on, Art! It's Arthur! Don't go! He's holding on to him. But then what happens? He's got him by the tail, which becomes a line, which starts unraveling. Uh-oh. Arthur? He kind of has a great big mess there, doesn't he? Where is Arthur? He's gonna figure it out. Aha! Okay, here goes. So what is he doing? Do you see? He's drawing with the line. More detail, I think. What do you think? Does it need a little more detail? Let's see. Oops, I'm moving it the wrong way. Sorry about that. See how that... So we've got Arthur, but it's not quite right, is it? Yes. Pointy bits, like this. He's getting a little better. A little more. How's that? Acceptable, I suppose. But don't forget my foot. So one foot over here has its toes, but look at this one. It's still kind of that kind of cartoon kind of foot. Come back here. You're not finished. Now what? Just hold still, Arthur. So he vacuumed up all the mess. He cleaned it all up. Do you see that? He did a good job cleaning up his mess. Uh-oh. What now? Let's see. Fascinating. Yes! Yay! Let's paint some more. All right, Max. Let's get started. Look at that. Max taught Arthur a new way to create art. Pretty good, right? So there's lots and lots of different ways that we can create art. And sometimes things don't quite work out the way we thought they would, but sometimes they work out in a new and different way. And sometimes that's even better than what we had originally planned if we let ourselves like what has happened. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a self-portrait, but our self-portrait is actually going to be an animal. And you're going to get to choose whatever animal you want to be. So we're going to draw a picture. We're going to have our head and we're going to have our shoulders. We're going to have our neck. We're going to put on a t-shirt. Our t-shirt can have whatever we want to on it. And then for the head, for our head, we're going to choose some sort of an animal. And I will draw a few different ones and you will be able to look at them and you will get to choose if you want to draw something like what I have drawn or if you want to draw something that you know how to draw and you really like. Everybody's is going to be a little bit different. It's a lot of fun. And then when you go to color this in, you can paint it, you can use marker, you can use crayon, you can use all three. But when you go to color it in, you can choose to color in a really smooth, even way if you like, or you can use sort of a pointillism where you're using just the point of your marker, not jabbing it down, just barely tapping it to the paper, or just the point of your paintbrush, and get lots and lots of little dots of color into your artwork so that you can kind of blend your colors without actually blending them, where they look like they're blending, but they're not really. So I will give you some examples, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun with this one. All right, let's get to it. So we talked about making a portrait or self-portrait of ourselves that is an animal. So here we have Max, and I love this illustration because it looks like a painting since he's on a canvas, but he's really just standing in front of it and you can see his shadow back behind him. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw something that has shoulders and a torso, and then we're going to draw a head. And you're going to get to choose whatever kind of animal you want your head for your self-portrait to be. So here we have a lizard, and we can see he's got this kind of downward curve line. We have bumps for the eyes. Over here is a different kind of lizard, and he's got the spikes coming off and that kind of stuff. But again, he's got that kind of downward curve line that's indicative of their face shapes, right? So I wanted to show you a couple of other books that I have that have the similar kind of idea. So this is a children's book that I have, and all of the kids that are in the book are different kinds of animals. So we have the rabbit with the bird, the pig, the duck, and then a couple pages later there's a couple of different kinds of dogs. So you can see they have different kinds of ear shapes, a lamb, and it's just kind of a neat way to envision. Here's the lamb again. Our personalities. I like how, you know, each one of these has very different shaped ears. So this ear kind of flops down, this ear kind of comes out. And depending on the colors that are used and then types of colors, here's same idea, right? But a much more cartoony kind of style. This is the Richard Scarry books, and he always had lots and lots of animals. You know, there's a raccoon and a rabbit and a pig and a goat and a cat and a rabbit again and a dog. Lots and lots of different kinds of animals that have clothes. So it's kind of like a portrait of a person, but not. And then finally, the book that I'm going to show you, this one is called For the Love of Dogs, because I know a lot of you guys like different kinds of dogs. Cats are great. I don't have any cats in this one, and we're not going to get as detailed as this, but I do like this puppy's portrait right here, as well as this cavalier portrait. So we're going to talk about different kinds of animals and how we're going to achieve that. I will draw a few. I'm going to draw in kind of a smaller scale so that I can draw sort of quickly, and then you guys get to do whatever it is that you like to do. I'm not going to color mine in. You're going to get to choose how you would add the color, if it's crayon, if it's marker, if it's watercolor, whatever you have available to you to make your colors and to create your pictures. This is from several years ago. This is Bo, who was the Obama's dog, and he's a beagle, right? All different kinds of faces that dogs could be. So choose what you want. Think about your animal. Think about what maybe represents you. Maybe it doesn't represent you. It's just something that you really like. But we're going to work on drawing the shoulders, the neck, and then I will draw a few different animal heads on top of my shoulders and neck, and then you guys get to do what you would like. All right, so we're going to get to it. So you're going to need paper, pencil, eraser for now, and then when you go into filling it in with color, we'll talk about some different ways that you can do that. Okay, so here you can see I've done sort of a dog kind of face with the tongue sticking out for my self-portrait. So what I'm going to show you how I got to this point. So I have here a piece of paper that, again, I'm doing this kind of small so that I can get through several sort of quickly, and then you guys will be able to do whatever it is that you would like to do for your animal. But the first thing that I'm going to think about is the shoulders. So I want this shoulder line it's a rounded line that kind of comes out and down. So I'm going to draw I'm going to start sort of in the middle, little bit of a neckline that I'll adjust later. And my shoulder line kind of comes out and down. Another neckline on this side, out and down. Okay. Then I need to draw the arms. Those are vertical lines that come down kind of parallel to the outer line here. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. Then I want to put a t-shirt collar kind of neckline on there, and I can kind of, if I come around from the back like that, and then bring this out and down like that, it looks a little bit more, so I'm just kind of connecting it right along that shoulder. I can erase these little lines, but it kind of looks like it curves around to behind my neck. Then I need to put some sleeves on here. So I come out, and if I'm doing just a short sleeve shirt, I just come out and do a little angle coming off like that and coming in and across. I could put a rainbow on my shirt if I want to. On this one over here, I just did a little stripe. I could put, you know, a guitar on my shirt, whatever it is that you think would be fun that kind of represents you. You could certainly do the Padres or any of that kind of stuff. So if I'm going to draw a dog, and I was looking at that Cavalier dog, if I'm going to draw a dog, I want to think about the nose, because that's a pretty prominent feature on a dog, right? So here's my neckline. The nose goes pretty much up to the forehead. So I'm going to draw it kind of coming out, and it's kind of, those Cavalier dogs are kind of a soft, rounded, pudgy little bit of a nose, right? So I come down, and it's the snout. The nose is just this little kind of square in here in the middle. And this really could be just about any type of dog to begin with. So there's that. Okay, and he has the little mouth part that comes under. Dogs' eyes are more round than people eyes. So I'm going to draw something that's a little bit more of a circle on either side. And then, and I can, I can still fill that in, give it a little bit of an iris, but their irises, the color of their eyes takes up most of that eye shape. So then, coming out from this, if I were to do the Cavalier dog, you can see that the ears are very, very soft. They droop down. They start, the inside of it starts just kind of above the eye. So I've done a forehead line coming across at the top. I come down, and then I come out from that, and I do this kind of soft, sort of wavy line that's coming down, okay? Then it comes back in and curves around, and it really kind of cuts off at the face a little bit, or it cuts off some of the face a little bit, because they have such soft, floppy ears. Not all dogs do. A lot of dogs have the stand-up ears, or maybe their ears just kind of stick out a little bit more to the side. And then in that, I can do a little bit of texture just by drawing a few little soft lines that kind of look a little bit furry. So I've got this line, I've got this line, I've got the rounded, right? The kind of square rectangle nose, and I have some whiskers coming off. You can give it a little bit of an eyelash. Some dogs definitely have more eyelash, and they kind of have a little bit of an eyebrow, just like a little ridge there. So that's this type of dog. This dog, maybe I want it to be more with that kind of standing up kind of ear. So maybe it's a sharper edge out here on the sides, and it can kind of come up and out and across and up and out And then I can still put a few whiskers in if I want to, although these dogs, their whiskers are a lot shorter than the Cavalier dogs, and they don't droop like that usually, right? I can put in the kind of inside, and this is sort of what we could do for a cat too. A cat is gonna have a different nose shape, so we'll get to that in a minute. And the dog has the eyebrows. So that's a slightly different style dog. Maybe it, instead of rounding out so much, maybe it comes down more like that, because it's not the Cavalier dog. If you would like to have the tongue hanging out, you could always do a little tongue hanging out. And then you just erase any lines that are back behind. Okay? So any lines that don't work for you, just erase them. It doesn't mean everything has to be perfect, right? That's not the goal of the project necessarily. It's to kind of figure out how we could do something that's just kind of fun and a little bit different than what we would normally do. Okay, so here I have a different kind of dog. And then over here, I have this one with the longer ears. This one looks a little more like a sheep, maybe. It's got kind of a wider nose, right? So as you're going through, you're thinking about different kinds of ears. It's got the floppy ears again. And kind of a squared off jowls. They definitely have that rounded head there, right? And this one I've given kind of more people shape eyes, but you can round it out. Okay, so, but a dog generally has a wider bridge on its nose. That snout is a little bit wider than a cat. So I'm gonna do another one. So I'll put these two up kind of out of the way. You can look at those if you want to. I'm gonna do another one here. And this time I'm gonna start with that neck and shoulder line. Okay. Put the arms in. I'm not going to do anything for the shirt right now. If I were to draw a cat tends to have a pretty pointy chin, right? And they have a pretty pointy triangle kind of nose. So we can do that. Come down, come down. And then they tend to have a very narrow bridge for their nose. And they have more of that almond shaped eye than the dogs do. Okay, so kind of a more narrow face. A little bit of an arc up here. And they definitely have the pointy ears. Okay, you can put that little edge showing that they have that kind of furry ear. Cats definitely have very long whiskers. And, when you go to color it in, you'll decide any kind of patterning or anything that you want on it. I think I need to narrow that neck down for my cat portrait. So I'll erase some of these lines. Okay. If I wanted to do the lizard, okay, so there's that. I'm going to get my book here so I can look at it, because I don't draw a lot of lizards. Oh, this is a good one on the back. Look at these lizards that are back here. And you can see they're all a little bit different shape, right? None of them are exactly the same. This one's almost a block. This one's a long, skinny, kind of a triangle. And then this one's a wide triangle, depends on the direction that you're looking at it from. But I'm going to open up to that portrait of Max, this, where he's just standing in front of the camera. I'm going to start again with my neck, pretty skinny neck, for especially since it's a lizard. Very sloped shoulders. Okay. You can put the t-shirt collar on him, right? And then when I look at this head is almost like not exactly an octagon, but kind of a diamond shape in some ways. This could be a frog too. This would be a good frog shape head if you wanted to do a frog. Okay, and then that mouth kind of does that funny little thing like that. The eyes are inside. Now, does anybody have to do it just like this? No. You can do it however you want. Okay, but what's kind of fun with this is once I have this shape, then I could go through and I could add a little bit more onto it. I could do those kind of spikes that we see on Arthur, right? Could do something along those lines. I could make it look like maybe there's some spikes coming off the back side of the neck. Do you have to make it have a frown line? No, you don't have to have a frown line either. It doesn't always have to be so serious. Here's a little smile line, right? So there's lots and lots of different ways that you could do that. Okay, so there's a lizard head. And then what would something else be that would be good? You know, maybe we could do, I know this is a little kid's book, but the ideas that are in here are awesome. We could do a bunny rabbit head. So if we were looking at the rabbit, okay. So the rabbit's head is going to come off of the neck and be a little bit fuller. We have to, this one we might want to make sure that we start a little bit lower if we want big tall ears. If you're not too worried about how big those ears are, you know, you don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, so we've got some long ears. And then just looking at this, you know, we've got kind of that little triangle nose, kind of like a kitty cat. They tend to have very long whiskers. And they also have that little J and backwards J little shape for their mouth. Give it kind of a little pointy chin down here. Little eyes. Okay, and that gives me a rabbit. Any lines that I don't want, I'll erase in a little bit. So there's a rabbit head. And then maybe a little bird head. Some of you guys might have some pet birds. So a bird head, I'm probably going to have it turn to the side a little bit. It's just a little bit easier to see the beak so that it's not quite so just a plain triangle in the middle of the head. So I'm going to do kind of a little bird beak like that. Okay. Let's see. Maybe it's a cockatoo and it has the big feathers, or a rooster or something. It has those big feathers coming up off the top. So as you're working on they have a pretty round shape, right? So I bring it down, and then if I'm turning it to the side, I'm going to stop my forehead coming down at the eye, and then I'm going to have a little cheek coming down, and then a little bit of a chin. Okay, so that's the bird head. I didn't start this one with the shoulders and neck, but you guys should be pretty familiar with that now, right? So now my bird is kind of looking off to the side, which you could do that with any of these, right? Any of them can kind of do that. And kind of just have some fun little feathers in and around. Okay, and there's a little bird. So there's lots and lots of different kinds of portraits. I want you to think about what kind of animal would you like to be if you got to choose being an animal. I'm going to leave these here for a second so that you can kind of freeze on this if you want to. But also don't feel like you have to do what I have done. You should feel like you could make any kind of animal self-portrait that you want to. So I have a lizard. I have something that's kind of like a cat, a bunny. I kind of cut his ears off because I started him too high. I brought my shoulders up too high. But these are all a little bit smaller. A bird and two different kind of dog heads, right? And then there was the other dog. Oh yeah, this one. If I wanted to do a dog that was more like that. Look at a book if you're not sure. And when you're looking at the book, you know, you don't have to get all the details in that they get in. I did not get in all of these ridges, right? I didn't get in all of this. I look at the main outline and I think about how that's going to happen. I think about what is some of the important features. This is a great little face right here. And part of this is there's not a super defined texture or a super defined line. The texture comes out of how fuzzy and furry this little puppy is. So instead of having this detail that's very, very defined for the shape of the head, it gets muted out by having lots and lots of fur that's sticking off in all kinds of directions for that. So think about what animal you want to be. Think about how you can create that. Work and rework the drawing as much as you kind of want to or need to. And then when you're all done, color it in. Put any kind of design on your t-shirt that you think would be fun to have on there. You know, what would your bird shirt say if you had a bird? You know, what would the dog say? There's lots of fun, different kinds of things out there that it could have on it if you want it to. Color it in, and then if you and your teacher want to take pictures, or if you and your parents want to take pictures, and post them on the Facebook page at Canyon View. Every now and then I go in and I check those, and I love to see what you guys are doing based on what we have done in these lessons. So you guys should have fun with this, and I will talk to you soon. All right.